Is this what the beginning of a war between the US and Venezuela looks like? Now, this is a satellite image. It's quite hard to make out. What we're interested in is this grey smudge visible from space. Still quite hard to make out, even if we zoom in on it here. But what it is this, the USS Gerald R. This is the largest, most deadly aircraft carrier in the world. And it is not alone. This is pictured in the Atlantic last month, accompanied by other ships. They have been based in Europe. They've made this long journey all the way over the Atlantic to the Caribbean Sea. And it's part, really, of a flotilla of all sorts of different weapon systems available. This shows that build-up, so you can see this is in February. This is what is the usual presence in green. That really spikes from August onwards. We've got this really, really big build-up of a variety of ships. You've got guided missile destroyers, amphibious assault ships. And that's only the naval assets. Let's talk about the US Air Force as well. This is flight tracking data for a B-52 flight. You can see the flight path from North Dakota all the way down just off Venezuela. And we've seen several of those flights from different sorts of bombers over that period. Now, the country's president, Nicolas Maduro, told crowds in Venezuela that it had endured 22 weeks of aggression from the US and Donald Trump. Things could be about to get worse. So let's rewind those 22 weeks to understand how we got here. Now, September the 2nd, this is a video posted by the White House on X. They said that they had conducted a strike against so-called narco-terrorists shipping fentanyl to the US. They didn't provide direct evidence of that. And that was only the first strike. There have been plenty more since then, including right up to Friday. We verified strikes and counted them up. At least 23 boats have been targeted in 22 strikes, killing 87 people. You can see that is all around. There's Venezuela here, but it's also on the Pacific Ocean as well. Now, the US says it is because of drugs, and there has been some evidence to support that. The Dominican Republic said they'd recovered the contents of one boat hit by a US strike. They unveiled a huge haul of cocaine. Whatever the cargo, though, there are serious disputed legal issues. First of all, whether designating the boats as narco-terrorists makes them lawful military targets, or whether these are effectively extrajudicial murders of civilians at sea. And more specifically, well, let's go back to that very first video, the very first strike back in September. What this footage doesn't show is what came afterwards, an alleged second strike that killed survivors of the first. That has created deep controversy for US Secretary of War Pete Hegseth. Here he was talking about it earlier in the week.
A couple of hours later, I learned that that commander had made which he had the complete authority to do, and by the way, Admiral Bradley made the correct decision to ultimately sink the boat and eliminate the threat. He sunk the boat, and eliminated the threat. And it was the right call. We have his back, and the American people are safer because narco-terrorists know you can't bring drugs through the water and eventually on land if necessary to the American people.
But others have said this isn't about drugs at all. It's about oil. Venezuela has lots of it, the world's largest proven reserves. Speaking to the faithful on Fox News, Republican Congresswoman and Trump supporter Maria Salazar said this.
He's understanding that we're about to go in. He understands that he has been our enemy for the last 25 years. Venezuela, for the American oil companies, will be a field day, because it will be more than $1 trillion in economic activity.
And that was echoed by Nicolas Maduro a few days later. He sent this letter to OPEC, which represents major oil-producing nations. And in that, he said that the US was trying to seize Venezuela's vast oil reserves, the largest on the planet, through lethal military force against the country's territory, people, and institutions. Lethal military force. And that's an understatement when you think of the armada that is lying in wait. And President Trump has himself said that he is prepared to go further.
And we're going to start doing those strikes on land, too. You know, the land is much easier. It's much easier. And we know the routes they take. We know everything about them. We know where they live. We know where the bad ones live. And we're going to start that very soon, too.
President Maduro has complained of 22 weeks of aggression. There may be much more to come.